passion and power. Montenegro.
Pancho, I'm glad you came.
Happy to be here, sir.
Right, we're all gathered here now, so let's begin the meeting, shall we?
Good afternoon.
Good to see you. Have a seat.
Have you already started?
Can I help you with something?
No. But I'm not going anywhere because I'm a shareholder too, and considering how things have been going, I've decided to take charge of what's mine.
Nina, if you'd accompany me to my office, please.
No. I'd rather ask Eric what exactly this meeting is about.
Nina, please. Gentlemen, would you give us a moment?
Excuse me?
Feisty, isn't she?
Well, I'm sure it's nothing.
I trust you.
What are you trying to do, Nina? Are you doing this to upset me?
No. I told you that I wanted to learn all the ins and outs of the company.
Nina, I have complete faith in you, but you don't understand. You don't know anything about the Montenegro group.
I can always learn.
Oh, really? Listen to me closely. If you want to fix things between us, this isn't the way.
Ah, so now you want us to settle our differences.
I get it. Okay. You have every right to participate, but you should know it will be very demanding. Are you really ready to set aside your social commitments and your friends?
Of course I am. And I'm going to ask for Eric's help. So from this moment forward, I'm taking control over my shares. I'm renouncing the power of attorney I granted you.
Look, Nina, I don't want you to make this into something personal. Just let me advise you.
No, thank you. Inasmuch as I am giving you your space, I'm asking you to give me mine. I want my independence.
Hello there.
Hey, are you going to the board meeting too?
Yes, I'm going too. And
well,
you?
if you want, you can go on ahead. I'll go in after you.
Hold on. Miguel, there is nothing wrong with us entering at the same time. That is, unless it bothers you.
No, not at all.
You really shouldn't have moved out of your house. It was I who should have left.
You know what? I didn't see any point in staying there. If ever I did, it was only to help you and to be around you.
Regina! What is it? What's the matter?
I went to see David and I saw Daniela there with him. Things are never going to change. My sister's never going to leave us alone.
Well, go on, tell me. What do you want in exchange?
I told you, you and I are going to be very good friends, and friends help each other out, right? Me? I can help set you up with David if that is what you really want.
Well, I guess. I'll think about it.
In the meantime, you and I can continue going out and having fun.
Well, that doesn't sound bad at all, but I have to think about it too.
By the way, I may have neglected to mention that my godfather has given me 20% of his company.
Are you trying to impress me?
I'll show you the titles as soon as I have them within my grasp, okay?
Okay. Anyway, I have to go now. I'll see you later. Excuse me.
Go ahead. What was she doing here?
She came to ask if we could still see each other, but since I'm marrying Gabby soon, I told her we had to end things.
How very clever of you. But remember, business always comes first.
I'm doing my job with Daniela, Godfather, but at the end of the day, it's Gabriela that I love. Please try to understand.
What was that? You don't need to tell me what I have to understand.
You're going to have to be more tolerant with me from now on, or else I may just tell everyone.
Oh, goodness.
You knew how persistent Daniela was going to be with David.
Yes, but David should have sent her packing, but he didn't. He took her to his office.
Okay, but you may be exaggerating. David has proven for a fact that he's not interested in her.
Well, yes, but don't you understand how insufferable Daniela is? If this goes on, I may end up losing my faith in him. And I can't ever let that happen because I love him too much. Do you understand?
They're all waiting for you so they can proceed with the board meeting.
Okay, we'll be there shortly.
No problem.
Thank you.
You have to understand, it's been this way since we were kids. Everyone liked her better than me. She was always the center of attention. She was the princess and no one cared about me. You think it's easy for me to let this slide when I've always felt this way? It's been like this since I was little, all of my life.
Why don't you stay here and we can talk about this later? Dad will surely understand.
No, I'm going with you. I'll wash my face. I'm going to relax and stop thinking about her. I'll get my coat. It'll be fine. Just wait for me.
Okay.
Wait
We'll
for
wait
me,
for you.
please.
All right.
Tolerant? Well, you sure know how to negotiate. You convinced me this time. Come here. I'll show you tolerant. Excuse us. Tolerant? Like this? Listen to me well. You and I are stuck on the same boat. I lose Julia, you lose Gabby, along with your 20% of the company.
No, you told me that—
Don't you point at me! Silence! I know what I offered you, but I have news. I haven't made it official.
I need you to understand, none of this is easy for me!
None of this is easy, least of all for me. So we're going to try to handle this in the best way possible.
All right. I'm sorry. Excuse my outburst.
I know that I'm indebted to you, and you can be sure that I want to make up for that mistake. The question here is this. Are you willing to start a new relationship with me knowing fully well what conditions I find myself in?
Yes. Whatever you say, Godfather, it shall be done.
Then please forgive me. Now I hope that you understand that I need time to make amends.
Right. It's so good of you all to come. I would like to give a warm welcome to Consuelo and to Miguel, our newest shareholders in the Montenegro group. Have a seat, please.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And you all know my daughter, Regina. She's going to be heading our construction company.
Congratulations, sweetheart.
Well, I'm glad we have this opportunity to meet today because I've discovered some important information about our competitor, Gomez Luna and Associate. Eladio has run into problems with Tabasco because he was using cheap materials for construction.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. Eladio won't stop for anything if he stands to gain from it.
No, well, it seems the labor union leader was the one in cahoots with the head of construction. David told me about it.
Of course, you believed him.
Well, he had no reason to lie to me.
Listen, Regina, David is no longer your boyfriend. You better remember that since Dad has put you at the head of the construction company. Your personal feelings have no place at work.
Eric, could we please leave the personal matters at home? And in any case, the Tabasco problem isn't important because they've started building again. I spoke with Peter Ashmore in New York. He owns one of the largest construction companies in the US. He's coming to Mexico for the construction of a very important hydropower plant, and we want him to be one of our associates.
This will make us stronger. Teaming up with him will be advantageous.
Right, now the problem is, Eladio Gomez Luna wants to do the same thing, and he warned me he'd give it everything he's got. But we aren't about to let him win, are we? All right then. Good.
Hey, son.
Hey, Dad.
So I went over the proposal you drew up for a partnership with the hydropower plant. The only thing I need to do now is review and adjust some numbers.
Well, I think that's out of my hands, Dad, right? It's up to you to decide on how much you're willing to offer them.
Obviously. Now I just need to see to that.
Sure.
I'll figure out how much and then off to Ashmore, agreed?
Yeah, that's fine.
I won't be long.
Sure. Rain. No. Wait for Regina to call you. She has to call you first.
Are you sure you want to go to the coroner's right now? We can always wait until you feel better.
No. It's better we do it. I had nowhere to run and nowhere to hide when I had problems in prison. But there I learned that you just have to face things and roll with the punches.
It must have been so tough being locked up in there for so long. I can't imagine not being able to walk outside.
Well, if you hold on to your dreams, you can take what life throws at you. I always dreamed of seeing my son again.
And now that you're free?
Well, I want to win him over. Or at least have him forgive me for not having been able to handle things when I murdered that man.
Did you hear about the offer Arturo made Ashmore?
Not yet. Daniela isn't well informed of her father's business.
Then why are you still wasting your time with her?
I'm trying to earn her trust. Perhaps she can't help us with Ashmore, but in the future her friendship will prove to be valuable in gaining information on other deals.
I don't like having to wait.
Well, in this case, you're going to have to if you want to reap the benefits. Seeing as your beloved David has refused to use his Montenegro, I guess it's my turn.
Enough, look. 1, you'll cut that out. 2, leave David alone.
I'm just calling it how I see it. While I tolerate your ill treatment, your demands, David can do as he pleases, right? I only wish you were as hard on him.
You have no right to judge me. Don't you realize? I'm trying to model him after me, but he's very different. Maybe in time, and now that he's involved in the business, I might possibly succeed with him.
Okay, but until that day comes, you have to trust in me. If I never failed you before, there's even less chance of it now. Father.
Franco.
Oh, caridad. But...
You didn't know that I was sent to prison for having killed my husband.
No. Mrs. Gisela never told me anything about it, and I guess I never asked her about it, out of respect.
I'll tell you then. Just so you don't get the wrong ideas about me. My husband went off to work in the United States. We agreed that he would send for me, but that didn't end up happening. I never heard from him again, and after 5 years, well, I had assumed he was dead.
And after?
And after that... after that I met a man I would fall madly in love with. Although he was married. He told me he'd been having problems with his wife. Things weren't working out and... Well, I believed him. I knew that I shouldn't have believed him, but I believed him anyway. Because I was in love with him. And I became pregnant.
Is that the son that you just found?
Yes. After that, he refused to have anything to do with our child. So he left me, and then he went back to his wife, and I was left alone with my child.
And how long did you and your child stay together?
3 years. For 3 years we lived a very happy life together, until José finally came back. My husband had come home from the States, and when he came back, well, he thought he still had a say in what happened to me. But the moment that he saw I had a child with another man, he exploded. He lost his temper and then he went after my son, wanting to kill him. I took a frying pan and I hit him on the head as hard as I could. And I killed him.
Oh my goodness. That was real bad luck, wasn't it?
I swear that I never meant to kill him. I did it on impulse to protect my son from him.
Yes, of course. Of course.
I'm sorry, it clearly upsets you when I call you that.
It isn't that. If you want to know, well...
You don't want anyone to hear me, right? I'm going to keep calling you Godfather. After all, that is what you've been to me.
Dad, are you ready to go and see Mr. Ashmore?
Yes, son, let's go.
Okay.
You're in charge for now, Franco.
Yes. Godfather.
Let's go.
Sure. Franco, excuse us.
Agustin, do you have a minute?
Of course I do. Come in.
Thank you.
Have a seat.
How kind of you. I didn't want to bother you because I knew the board meeting wasn't the right place for it, but I really need your advice.
Well, of course. What is it?
The police have been hounding me about Montserrat. There seems to have been progress, but they're asking me not to leave the country.
Yes. They said the same thing to Eric. But there are some questions that can be answered in writing, such that there's no need to present at court or anything.
Oh, really?
Yes, so don't worry. Just remember that this kind of case can take a very long time to solve. It could even take years. But rest assured, I'm taking care of your case too.
Many, many thanks, Agustin.
You're welcome.
Can you confirm that this is Mrs. Gisela Fuentes de Herrera?
Yes, she is my mother.
Hold on, officer. How did she get the bruise on her face?
She probably hit herself before falling, but I can't confirm that with certainty because we don't have the results of the autopsy. Madam, I need you to fill out some forms, and I just need to see some identification, and as soon as the results of the autopsy are out, they'll deliver the body to you so you can do a proper burial.
All right then. Would you give us a couple of minutes alone with her, please?
Of course.
Caridad, I'm sorry about what happened to your mother. I only wish that I had thought of being kinder to Gisela.
I don't want you to feel bad. You did a lot for her and you did let her live with you. I know what a difficult person my mother was.
Sometimes I would get so fed up with her, but in spite of everything, Gisela was such a huge part of my life. I'm sorry, I'll leave you.
Montenegro.
Are you really going to manage your own shares now?
Of course I am. But I'm going to need your help. Because out of all the things they discussed at the meeting, I was only able to understand the part about the investments in the future.
Well, to begin with, that is the most important thing you need to know. Where you're going to invest your money so that you can make a profit. Now, actually doing it is the hard part.
But you know how to do that, don't you?
Yes, of course. I've learned a lot of things from Dad, although I'm not as smart as him. You've noticed how he treats me. He barely noticed me when I mentioned Gomez Luna's problems with Tabasco.
Well, I am interested. Why don't you tell me? Rest in peace, Mother. And I forgive you. I forgive you from the bottom of my heart for what you did with Franco. Although I really don't know if he would have fared better in your care. I hope you encounter only light on your way. And I beg you to intercede on my behalf so that I may be reunited with my son. I've been thinking about it, and the problems between David's family and ours is never going to end.
And we still have to watch them quarrel over the coveted presidency of the Entrepreneurs Association.
You see what I mean? And we still have to see who wins the bid for the hotels, David or me. Well, this relationship is hopeless.
No, don't say
Regina?
that.
Darling, are you all right?
Yes, Dad.
Okay. I wanted to ask you to accompany me to the meeting with Peter Ashmore.
Yes, and then I got angry because Elijah, he gave our godson the same amount of shares as David. David is our son. But later on, I felt awful about how I reacted.
And why do you think you reacted like that?
Why? Because I'm having such a hard time trying to convince Elijah to put David in his rightful place in the company.
And how did your son react?
You see, my son doesn't care about those things. He really doesn't care. He's always wanted to make his own money, live his own life. He'd rather not depend on his father.
But why would Elijah refuse to entrust his own son with part of his own company?
It's because of what I just told you. Because he always believed that David is Arturo's son. He has this idea that Arturo got me pregnant a few weeks before we got married, and that's why he doesn't see David as his son. Anyway, at least, that's just one way of controlling me. He always finds a way to make me feel bad. I always tell Elijah to get a DNA test done, but he never does. He's just too proud, which is why I dared to ask Arturo to do it instead.
And how did Elijah react to that?
He was absolutely furious that I even thought of doing it, but I was fed up. I was tired of convincing him David is his. I was tired of all his complaints.
Julia, all this confusion with the DNA test, did you do it because you truly care about making Eladio acknowledge your son?
Yes.
Or is it because you only wanted to hurt him?
What is it? You don't want to go with me?
I don't know if I should, Dad. If David's father is competing with us and then I'm there, well...
Hold on, dear. What Eric said holds true. You've broken up with David, so it really doesn't matter anymore what the Gomez Lunas think about you. Plus, this wouldn't be the first time you'd be going up against the Gomez Luna company. You know, in fact, you're already doing it by tendering a bid for the hotels. And that wasn't a problem. Or was it?
No.
Ah, well. Right now, you have to make up your mind. Put everything into it. And I don't want you to feel sorry just because you're stepping over them. Are we clear?
Yes.
Come, darling. Everything will be fine.
Yes, Daddy.
I'm sorry. I don't understand how I could be hurting Elijah when all I really want is for him to stop denying that David isn't his.
But the solution you chose was very desperate.
I know, but what else could I do? My husband refused to get the tests done, and he wouldn't stop reproaching me for it.
Perhaps, but although you may have taken an important step in trying to get your husband to accept what he refused to accept, it still hasn't healed the wounds you have.
Yes, but I would say that's what really affected us as a couple. I think that if Elijah knows that David really is his son, I think things will get better.
If it's friends and partners and comrades, they get along fine. But between couples, it's love.
But I just don't know how You see, Elijah he's very difficult. He's
violent, according to what you told me.
Well, he isn't always like that. When he really wants to, when he tries to change, I can see that there's a good man inside. He's a good man.
So then if you know that Eladio is a good man deep down inside, why did you get mad when he gave those shares to Franco?
I already told you, because of my son.
But you said your son doesn't really care about money. You also said that Eladio took care of all your father's debts.
Yes.
And you've also had a very comfortable life ever since you married him.
Comfortable? Well, if this is a question of money, yes. Yes, it's true. I admit I got married out of obligation, out of circumstance, because of my father's debts.
In that case, could it be that the one most concerned about losing Eladio's money is you?
No. No, of course not. I didn't marry him for that. I don't care about his money.
Well then, why can't you leave him?
Because I felt guilty. But mainly, most especially because I'm afraid.
Afraid? Afraid of what?
I've always been afraid of how he'd react because he's a violent man.
And do you really think that he would hurt you?
Well, I'm sorry. As you therapists always say, the abuse is not just physical, it can also be mental, emotional. And there are times when he gets too aggressive.
And you stay with him in spite of that? What are you afraid of? Facing the world alone? Surviving without the financial support of your husband?
Our group of companies is the largest in the country. I can tell you we are very interested in partnering with you.
Then that would turn you into the largest construction company in the country.
Mr. Ashmore, our advantage is that we know how to go about things in Mexico. And we also have a great track record for completing projects in record time, while still complying with standards, obviously.
Yes, I know very well how the Gomez Luna Construction Company operates. You know what? You're not the only ones who are interested in partnering with my company.
Obviously. And that's why we are here today. We want to know how much they offered. I can assure you that whatever it is, we can top that offer.
No. No, I'm not afraid of eventually losing Elijah's financial support. But my father isn't well. He's sick and he needs special treatment. It's very expensive, and what's more, I'm worried that in the event I leave, he'll leave David with nothing. It isn't fair. David is Elijah's son.
You're still worried even when David doesn't care about money and has already lived alone before? Leaving everything behind? I'm flattered that you're interested in partnering up with me, but my deal with Arturo Montenegro is confidential, in which case I can't discuss it with anyone else.
I do understand. And I hope we receive the same discretion and you don't mention to anybody just how much we're offering.
You have my word.
Alright, the proposal we have for you may interest you. Not to mention, we've already handled the construction of a hydroelectric plant before in Sinaloa.
Really?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yes,
Wow.
actually, we have ample experience in the field.
Sweetheart, you seem to have calmed down over David. And I'm so happy to see that.
Well, it still hurts, Dad. But if I concentrate on my work, I'm going to feel better. And I'm very sure that we're going to win the project.
That is the spirit, darling.
Yes, it's going to happen.
That's the spirit. Victory!
Yes, we're definitely
Victory!
going to win.
The power of the Montenegros.
Regina, are you really all right with all of this?
Honestly, I'm not. I'm still confused because my heart is longing for David and I'm dying to be with him. But then my mind is telling me that we're never going to be happy together. Besides, my dad was right about this. I have to focus on the family business and stay away from David.
It's your call. But make sure you're doing this for you, not because of anything to do with Daniela. Don't you realize, Regina, you are so brilliant and beautiful. Think of all the things you've achieved. You can't let your fears get the best of you.
Yes, I know. I really have to work on that. And I also have to think hard about what I want to do. Consuelo, I love David with all my heart and soul. But I have to put my own needs first.
I think it's precisely because of that, because of what you just said. It's because my son doesn't care about money. And I feel it's my responsibility to take care of him, to look out for his future and make sure that he gets what he truly deserves. He is Elijah's son. And I've put in years of my life into this.
Many years which, according to what you've told me before, have never been happy.
My father. He is just like Elijah. Exactly. He was always very controlling and aggressive with us. His will was arbitrary and he continuously humiliates my mother, my sister, and me. We were always living in a state of terror and I ended up in the same kind of marriage. I know that I'm sacrificing my well-being for the sake of my son.
How about you? Now that your son David is an adult and is pursuing his own path in life, what excuse do you have for staying in this marriage with Eladio?
I'm sorry? What excuse? No, I don't have one. That's exactly why I want to get divorced from my husband.
So you can finally be with Mr. Montenegro? Because you told me that he tried to help you not too long ago.
Yes. Arturo told me he would help me however he could.
Basically, the only thing that you will be exchanging is the financial support of Eladio for that of Arturo. It was a pleasure to hear out your proposal, and I can assure you we'll be in touch. If you'll excuse me?
Pleasure.
It was a
Have
pleasure.
a good day.
Take care. I'll be waiting for your call.
Excuse me.
Go ahead.
Very well done, son. You really impressed Ashmore.
Dad, if I can be honest about this project, I find it very interesting, and I really hope we get it. I hope he accepts
You'll
our
see,
offer.
he will. I doubt that Arturo will be able to make a better offer than ours. No. I know you don't want to talk about the Montenegros. But this time, I am sure that we are going to win. And we'll win this together.
With so many things going on, I haven't been able to thank you for taking Miguel in. I'll ask him where he wants to move and offer him my support.
You see? This is the problem with you.
What?
You want your children to be self-sufficient, but the first thing you do is solve all their problems for them.
Okay, I'm sorry, hold on. This time it's different. I want to make up for not being as supportive of him as I was with the rest.
Well, if you really do love him, let him be the one to find a place to live and do it on his own. Miguel is very clever. He's going to pull through and achieve whatever he sets his mind to do.
Yes, okay, then I know. You are right.
Actually, he told me that he's going to buy an apartment, but he wants to take his time in looking for one. He already has the budget. He'll be fine, more so now that he's become a partner.
That is true. Yes.
To tell you the truth, I'm worried about Nina. She can be ambitious and greedy. She's going to cause trouble on the board of directors and when it comes to decision-making.
Honestly, I don't know what she's up to. And I'm worried because she doesn't know how to separate work from her personal life. She's going to end up making bad decisions.
Well, I can only hope that she'll accept your advice. Because if she lets Eric advise her, then that means we are going to have problems.
Mr. Ashmore. Good
Hi.
evening. How have you been?
How are you, Mrs. Montenegro?
Very
Hello.
well. I heard you were here in Mexico, so I wanted to be here to welcome you.
And how's your husband?
Oh, I'm sorry he couldn't come, but he sends his warm regards and told me that I should take you around the city tomorrow.
I'd be delighted.
Oh, you really are going to enjoy our little tour. The city is beautiful. The culture is very rich, and there's so much to do. But anyway, I'm going to have to leave you now. I have to console my daughter, Regina, you see? She just broke up with her boyfriend.
Your daughter's probably still young, hence all the drama. That's how it is, isn't it?
Well, to tell you the truth, just between you and me, I think it's the best thing that could have happened. Her ex is the son of Eladio Gomez Luna. Do you know him?
Of course.
He also owns a construction company like ours. But these people are far from decent.
Are you sure?
Of course, 100%. There are no secrets in this field. Yes, and the latest is that they're going to get sued by Tabasco because they were building using materials of inferior quality.
That is a very serious failure in terms of the quality of construction.
Of course, but you see, these people, the only thing that they're really after is increasing their own profit margins. They're willing to risk the very collapse of a building. And they don't care.
You look very pretty. Have dinner with me. We can go wherever you like. I'm going to treat you tonight, okay?
I have plans.
What do you mean? Are you seeing someone else?
I don't have to tell you anything, Eric. And don't pretend to be jealous, because I won't believe you.
No, hold on. Okay, what do you want?
Your father just told me to ask you if you know where your mother is.
How should I know?
Are you all right, madam?
Oh, Simona, it's just... Well, I was talking in therapy and it's so hard, but you don't have to worry.
Mom, I'm so glad I
David.
found you.
If you'll excuse
Thank
me.
you, Simona.
Go ahead.
But wait, did you come with your father?
No, he went back to the office to sign some documents, but I wanted to come over to visit you, Mom.
I'm so glad that you're here, sweetheart. And I know that you already told me that you agreed with your father's decision, but I want you to tell me, and this is just between us, do you think it was right for him to give Franco so many shares?
Mom, I wasn't surprised. Dad has clearly always gotten along much better with him than his own son. Besides, if you think about it, Franco did his fair share of work to earn it,
Yes,
Mom.
I know he worked hard, but I want to know. I want to hear you say it. Were you hurt by your father's decision? Were you?
No, okay, Mom, look, I've already told you so many times. You know that when I graduated, from that moment on, I didn't want anything to do with Dad's work. None of it. I'm not interested, okay? The only thing, all I'm interested in, is his love. I'm so grateful we're really starting to get along.
Do you mean it? Things are getting better, really?
Yeah, they are. I'm getting along with him fine. Working together has made us grow so much closer to one another, and no matter how hard it may be, he's really trying to change, Mom.
Daniela, I know that you went to see David.
Oh, did he tell you?
I saw you entering his office, you tramp.
You know what, Regina? Call me whatever you want, but I always get what I want. And I swear to you, I will get David back. Because I love him. And he isn't over me. And I'm not going to let you have him.
You are so full of it, and I'm so tired of listening to you.
You don't know what he did with me. Or the things he said to me.
He was just having fun with you.
Of course he was. And life was made to be enjoyed, wouldn't you agree?
The only thing I know is that you are a tramp, and that's why you're still single.
I thought it would hurt you to see that Franco was getting the same amount of shares.
No, Mom, listen. Franco doesn't have the same amount. Besides, I don't care about whatever Dad might leave to me. All I care about is making it on my own. Just me. And as of late, I've realized that there are things that money can't buy.
You're right about that.
Can I tell you something?
Mm-hmm.
I would trade all the shares Dad gave me, Mom, if it meant getting back Regina.
Sweetheart. Oh, it hurts me to see you like this. Hold on. You weren't able to settle your differences?
No, we weren't. I'm dying to see her and tell her I love her, but I don't know what to do. I really don't, because something inside me is telling me that I have to wait.
You don't know how sorry I am. I'm so sorry, David. But you haven't told me what exactly happened with you two. What happened?
Listen.
Tell me.
It isn't important, Mom. Really,
No,
it isn't that
tell me
important. The only thing that I do know is that if Regina doesn't manage to get over this, I'm never getting her back, Mom.
Of course. Since you don't have anything, you insult me.
No, it's the truth. If David slept with you, it's only because he didn't know what you were really like. And don't pretend that that offended you because it doesn't suit you. Hello? Oh, sure, of course I'll see you there. Oh, well, excuse me, I have a date because I got asked out. Goodbye. Oh.
Hello? Sir, were you able to catch your wife?
No.
Well then, should I clean up the place setting for her as well as Mr. Miguel's? Oh, please forgive me. I'm so used to him that I forget he no longer lives in this house.
Do you know who Consuelo went out with tonight?
No? But you could call her. The lady's still your wife. I'm sure she'll tell you where she is.
Shut up.
Nina? 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 Where were you? We need to talk.
Right now, I don't feel like talking.
I already told you that I was sorry about our argument over the car, but don't use that as an excuse for you to get even with me at work.
No, but that is exactly what you do. Don't you use work to get back at Eladio?
I don't need to get back at Eladio. Are you doing all of this to upset me, Nina?
No. I'm just taking precautionary measures in case we separate. I won't depend on you in any financial respect.
All right.
So I take it you really want to get a divorce?
Well, anything can happen. But it's good that you're leaving. If something happens to me, at least I know you'll be fine on your own. But I don't want you to do this solely on my account and because you're upset.
No,
okay?
clearly you're the one who's upset here. But all this has helped me to finally realize that I don't quite approve of some of your business decisions.
What do you mean?
I mean, you're giving all of those shares to Miguel and to Consuelo. I think you should give the same percentage to Daniela and Regina.
Thank you, sweetheart. I'll see you. Take care.
Darling, are you really going to let Franco get away with the same share ownership as David? This isn't right. I don't have the right to say anything to Eladio, but you should convince him that this was clearly a bad decision.
Listen, Dad, I am not going to do that. I will not do that.
I'm ordering you to.
Yes, but... Nothing. You know how my father is like, but he's on his way to bed now.
Yes, I'm going to bed now. Have a good night. I'll see
What are you waiting for? Go.
I'm going now.
Oh, I don't believe this. That's what the nurse is for. Seriously, I'm paying the nurse, and for what? For nothing.
Eladio, I need you to answer me with all honesty, okay? Do you think that I married you for your money?
I agree with you on that. Our daughters are entitled to their shares as well.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, because just as you are giving your support to Consuelo, I think you should do the same for Regina and Daniela.
I am happy you look out for them. Because of that, you will be awarding them with those shares yourself. Let me remind you that when they were minors, I already awarded each of them with their shares.
Yes. You wanted to give some to Miguel too.
Yes, but back then he refused to accept them.
Yes, I remember perfectly.
Perfect. Then I hope you also recall that you asked me to put both our daughters' shares all under your name, together with your own, since you are the administrator of all the shares on that side of the family. Huh?
Yes, of course. Because I always thought they would get married and they would never have to work for a living.
Fortunately, Regina decided to make something of herself, and she can hold her own in the business. So now, you need to relinquish what shares are truly and rightfully hers. Daniela as well.